Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Manager 2023 and another part of this series with Newcastle United, where we are now Carabao Cup winners after the last episode where we were knocked out of the FA Cup in a tough away game against Manchester City. 3-0 defeat there. Eric Garcia getting sent off didn't help our cause, but then we bounced back beautifully with a victory over Liverpool. It was a controversial 11 that we put out there with Kuol starting up top, but we got the goal when Ben Brereton Diaz came in off the bench to score in the 88th minute to send the Newcastle faithful absolutely wild. And since then we also managed to get a victory over West Bromwich Albion 2-1 away from home, despite a late Ryan Brewster goal. Alexander Isak with two managed to get us another 3 points. That means as it stands in the league, we remain 6 points behind Liverpool, tied with City, just 3 goals behind them, but well clear in the race for the top four, a 9-point lead there, although Chelsea do have a game in hand. But if we look at some of those games to come in the schedule, you can see Bayer Leverkusen is the first one today. After a 1-1 draw at home, we now need to do the business away from home to make it into the Champions League quarter-finals. And then we're going to take on Leicester at home after that to see if we can get 3 more points and keep up our title challenge. And then looking ahead, these Liverpool, Chelsea and Arsenal Man United double headers look very exciting, but it depends on how we do in the Champions League. So for this game today, we are changing things up yet again. Alexander Isak not fully fit, and he's been so injury prone that I don't want to risk him from the start for this one. So Cunha will be starting as the lead striker. And then we have Brereton Diaz, the hero from the Carabao Cup, on the wing with Saint-Maximin. Then Joe Linton, Willock and Højbjerg in midfield. Sessegnon, Schlotterbeck, Botman and Trippier make up the defence with Nick Pope in goal. I think this could be, this should be a fairly easy game, but I think it could be quite tricky. It was difficult last time. They've got Sorloth up front. If you're a FIFA player, you'll know he's a decent striker up there. There's so many decent players. Frimpong, Hradecki, Matthias Ginter's very good. Aaron Gies, Musa Diaby, Florian Wirtz, a lot of decent players in there. And that's why we are facing a very tricky fixture away from home. So hopefully we can get a good result here. As I just slow it down a tiny bit. I think last episode we were running a bit too quickly on the highlights. And if you're watching on a mobile, they can be difficult to follow. But here's Hradecki out to Udokai. Aranguiz forward to Sorloth. Botman trying to come and intercept, but it's worked out wide to Hinkapel, or Hinkapi. He takes it to the byline just inside the area, but Trippier doing well to steal that ball. Nick Pope out, but it's come down for Wirtz. And I think he's hit the post there, Wirtz. It's gone out for a goal kick, so he whipped that one in, but couldn't quite get enough bend on it in order to get it in the back of the net, and it does just bounce out and wide. But yeah, the last time we played Bayer Leverkusen at home, we were all over them, but we were undone by a red card. Even when we went down to 10 men, we were still the better team. So hopefully today with 11 men, we will be able to get the win. As Joelinton comes forward, it falls for Willock. Saint-Maximin's out there, but he slipped it through for Cunha. And he has scored in that far post. The referee is going to check for an offside. I'm pretty sure that was onside though. And it is now 1-0 to us. What does VAR have to say? Goal awarded. Of course it was awarded. It was Joe Linton down the break, but Willock in that support role, picking the ball up. And I thought he played it to Saint-Maximin, but a beautifully weighted pass inside, and Cunha there just sent it into that far post and justified his selection ahead of Alexander Isak by getting us on the score sheet. It's not that Isak was dropped for this one. Isak is being rested so that we can focus on other games, and I don't want him getting a long-term injury heading into such a crucial point at the end of the season. So maybe I should have rested him against West Brom, but given he scored both goals in a narrow victory, I think that was the right call, as Brereton Diaz there nearly forces that one over the line, but Hradecki gets across to pick it up. Now Hradecki, sensible forward. It's Ginter. Out wide to Frimpong. Diaby. Trying to take it down the right flank. He whips it in. He did a little spin there, and Botman plays a casual ball back to Pope, who clears it. Another ball forward. Intercepted before Cunha could get onto it. Wirtz. Back to Aranguiz. Now Sorloth. Højbjerg intercepts it. He's trying to go on a run. It's come for Cunha. Players to his right if he needs them, and he's instead, I don't know if that was a cross or a shot, but either way it's high, wide and not at all handsome. It remains 1-0 as it stands, though, and we are going through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League if we can keep this up. And here's Willock on the run, plays it in behind for Cunha again. It's the same move as the goal we got in the first section of this game, but this time Hradecky makes a save. Trippier with the resultant corner, and it is cleared away, and Appelkamp can bring the ball out. He's been stood up by Højbjerg though, and our defenders have now managed to get back. And Aranguiz to Wirtz, gets the ball through, but Botman and Trippier sort of clear it up between them, and we're able to bring the ball away. But you can see in the stats, Bayer Leverkusen being absolutely dominated here. The main thing for us is that we keep all 11 men on the pitch, and it's only Botman with a yellow card so far, so we're on track to do that as we go in at half-time with a nice 1-0 victory here. Can we keep it going for the next 45 minutes? It's Trippier with a throw into Willock. Now Trippier again. Try to get that one into Joe Linton, but Højbjerg there on the volley. What a goal from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Absolutely sensational there. On the volley from outside of the box. That is the best goal I've seen in a while. They were looking for that ball across the box where Isaac scores so often, but it was cleared out there by Appelkamp. And on the volley, what a goal that is from Højbjerg. That's got to be like the Champions League goal of the season, surely, as he makes it 2-0. That was utterly sensational. And now Aranguiz with a free kick. It's off the woodwork. That nearly did the beautiful effect of hitting the underside of the bar and going in. Brereton Diaz there just kicked the ball out for a throw-in because he was under pressure. And now Wirtz to Frimpong to Appelkamp. Wow. This is a day for the volleys. It turns out that Brereton Diaz kicking the ball out there was a big mistake, as Frimpong found Wirtz and he then sent it back to Frimpong, and what a ball that is. But this, Van Basten-esque, as Appelkamp volleys that one cleanly past Nick Pope for 2-1, and it is all to play for still as Trippier puts the ball in, comes back to him from Cunha. Now Willock to Trippier. They want to flash this one across the 6-yard box if they can. Instead, Willock goes far post to Frimpong. It's saved. And there was a push in there, surely. Surely there was a push in there. Our player went absolutely flying. But here's Trippier with the corner. At the near post, it was Schlotterbeck, but Hradecky able to pluck the ball softly out of the sky, and it remains 2-1. We definitely need to get another goal here because we're clearly vulnerable to a little bit of brilliance from this Leverkusen team. Here's Højbjerg to Saint-Maximin. Højbjerg again, out to Willock. He's just played that to nobody. I'm a little bit concerned by some of this decision-making taking place on the pitch as Tapsoba switches the ball. Joe Linton has stolen it though, and Cunha is through on goal, and he has scored, and there's no need to worry about decision-making now. A beautiful goal, and Cunha absolutely justifying his position up front ahead of Isaac, giving Isaac a much-needed rest, and we can start to rotate a few players too. I don't know why substitutions end highlights early, but there we go. 3-1 it is, 2 for Cunha now, and a stunning goal from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg means it is 3-1 as it stands. So we are looking very comfortable here in Leverkusen. And Joelinton has stolen the ball again. Cunha this time can't be put through, but Saint-Maximin can, and he went for the lob there. And they really are putting on a show, some of these players, trying to demonstrate that they have all of the ability on both sides. And here's Appelkamp back to Frimpong. Longstaff with a good tackle, but Frimpong manages to retain possession. Sorloth in behind. Trippier should get there, and does. He cleans it up. Now Pope. He launches it forward. Cunha wins the header. It's Brereton Diaz back to Cunha. Hradecky to Ginter. Now Paulinho trying to spin Trippier, but Saint-Maximin's back there, and we definitely see him on top now. We're all over this Leverkusen team. And there is Frimpong just cutting the ball out and sending it back to Hradecky. This highlight could go either way as Saint-Maximin hunts, and Joelinton's done it again. Now Saint-Maximin to Brereton Diaz. They thought it was going to be Cunha, and it's Brereton Diaz that gets the goal, his 6th of the season. He's making a habit of scoring in big games, and it's now 4-1, and that should be final curtain for Bayer Leverkusen. We were definitely the better team across both legs, and today we've put the ball away beautifully between Hradecky's legs there from Brereton Diaz. But we've put the ball away time and time again, and it is now 5-2 on aggregate, and we should be sailing through. It'll be really interesting to see who we do get in the Champions League quarterfinals, because I think there are only going to be big teams left at this stage. So hopefully we can find a way through and get to the semi-finals. That sweet Champions League money will be heading our way as Schlotterbeek sends it back to Pope into the final minute of added time. But this is a foregone conclusion at this point, as the ball is sent forward and Brereton Diaz has pulled it down. He's got Cunha across, he's going to do it himself, and Hradecki this time does make a good stop. He's made a couple of good stops today, to be fair, but it just sort of shows how dominant we have been. As Target puts that one in, it comes back and goes out for a goal kick. But we've utterly dominated by Leverkusen across both legs here. And there we go, 4-1. We are in the Champions League quarterfinals. A fantastic performance from the team. And now we can return our attention to the Premier League. We're 8 million for winning that tie, which is pretty nice. And we'll get even more for being in the quarterfinals. But let's go ahead to this Leicester game and see if we can get another win to get back into that title race in the Premier League. Well, for this game against Leicester, we're in a position where we can bring Isaac back in fully rested. Cunha then moves to the left wing. We've got Brahim Diaz coming in on the right wing. So it's a very different front three to the previous games. And then Bruno, Camavinga and Højbjerg in central midfield. Sessegnon, Botman, Garcia and Manquillo in defence, and Pope in goal. It's our best midfield and attack for this game. The real worry here is not conceding goals. It's putting the ball in the back of the net. So we needed to make sure we had the strongest possible team to face Leicester. I don't know why I was so confident we were going to beat Bayer Leverkusen, but I think in the first leg it was pretty evident that we were the better team, whereas in the Premier League it can be a little bit more unpredictable, and it's much more about maintaining momentum, getting win after win after win, even when you have to struggle for it. So I want to keep that momentum up if we can. And here's Cunha trying to charge in from the left flank. He's put the ball in and it's just gone out for a goal kick. Cunha's really come on as well. He had a difficult start to life after we signed him, but he has definitely become the player I thought I was signing at the start of the season, and really turned into a great player. Earlier, before this kickoff, Liverpool did get a win as Isaac is trying to charge through. Bruno down to Brahim, and he's into the 6-yard box. It's saved, and then Didi gets that one away. But Liverpool did get a win earlier, or the day before this, against Man United. They won 4-1 at Old Trafford, emphasising why they're such a dangerous team, as Manquillo puts that into Camavinga. Back to Sessegnon. It's blocked. Sessegnon again is denied, and it's out to Højbjerg. Højbjerg then all the way back to Eric Garcia. I thought he was going to get robbed by Vitinha there, but he does the smart thing and goes back to Pope. And here's Botman. Kent Vitinha is lurking there, waiting for a chance to steal that ball. But instead it's Grimares. Plays it into Isaac. Oh, that was beautiful. Going for the near post finish when the goalkeeper would have expected him to go far post. Question of offside. I don't think he is. That looked fairly onside to me. And the goal has been awarded. Isaac again with another goal. His 38th goal in all competitions now. And it's another one of those beautiful slide rule balls in behind Sayunchu. And then beat Sergio Rico at the near post with a clever little finish to make it 1-0. But yeah, Liverpool with another win against a big rival shows that they are the team. I said at the start of the season it was always going to be Liverpool and City, even though they both had slow starts as we did. It was always going to be us, Liverpool and City, at the top of the table at the end of the season, and that is what's coming to pass. Even with a win today, we will still be 6 points behind with 8 games to go, but we do still play Liverpool, so we can make that just a 3-point gap if we win that game. I think it is Anfield though, so it will be tricky. As Sessegnon comes forward, Camavinga picks up the loose ball, plays it out wide to Brahim Diaz. He's got players in the middle as he holds it up, pulls it back, and there's Bruno, and Sayuncu clears it off the line. Very close to a second there. We are all over this Leicester team in the first half, but only 1 goal to show for it so far, as Botman sends it back to Garcia. Now Højbjerg to Bruno. Manquillo making a good run. He's got 3 in the box to aim at. Comes back instead, and we just about keep the ball. Højbjerg over the top finds Cunha. What a finish there. Mateus Cunha. It was a beautiful ball in from Højbjerg, who's been an excellent under-the-radar January signing. And then stunning finish from Cunha out there. And our new signings this season definitely showing their added value as we go into the late stage of the season. But what a beautiful volley that is. I mean, what an episode for volleys this has been. Stunning volleys across the board, and that is now 2-0 against Leicester, and we should be heading for another 3 points in the Premier League to close that gap down to just 6. and hopefully City slip up as well, and then it really does become a straight shootout between us and Liverpool as Leicester clear this one away. Botman heads it forward, and now Sessegnon sends it out wide to Bruno Guimaraes. He plays it back to Manquillo. Looks to come across, goes for goal, but it has gone wide of the goal. Wasn't the best effort there, and the ball goes out for a goal kick. 2-0 it remains at the moment. This feels like it should be a fairly clean run through to the full-time whistle. Sessegnon just struggling at that left-back position, so we will bring on probably NEWCASTLE because Target's not on the bench. And Didi to Tielemans. Brahim Diaz steals it and he can play it through, and Isaac's there. It's come from Brahim Diaz again. Now Isaac denied by Sergio Rico, and it goes out for a corner. I might also just take off Isaac as well as Brahim takes the corner, and it is just cleared away, and that substitution doesn't seem to have gone through. I think I'll bring Qual on instead. I want to get Qual a bit more into the team, get him a bit more first 11 experience, or at least off the bench. As the ball goes away, NEWCASTLE wins it. Cunha, Isaac was clean through there. It's come for Camavinga. Bruno waiting to make the run, but it's come for Brahim Diaz instead, and it is denied by Sergio Rico, who wants to keep his clean sheet. Or keep a clean sheet to the end of the game anyway. He's already conceded 2, but ball goes in from the corner, out to Qual. Now NEWCASTLE gets tackled there, and the highlight comes to an end. Camavinga also now struggling a little bit for fitness. Let's see if we can make a few more changes, just keep the team nice and fresh as that ball runs through to Pope. He sends it out to NEWCASTLE. Charging forward, he's got Qual looking to make a run in behind, and there is the ball over, and Qual has got there, and he's made the header, and he has scored his 3rd goal of the season now. A mistake between the Leicester goalkeeper and their defence allowed Qual to just hesitate, or make the most of their hesitation. NEWCASTLE's ball out to Cunha, ball over the top, and look at that, he just perfectly times it, and then heads it past Sergio Rico, who can do nothing about it. Beautiful anticipation from the youngster there, which is a sign of his quality that we're going to be relying on in the future. And it is now 3-0, and we're starting to show. We had a little patch where Isaac was injured and our strikers weren't scoring goals because we only really have Isaac as an out-and-out striker. But since then, when Isaac's come back into the team and been rotated a bit more, the other players playing in that striker position have begun to get goals. And just like that, we get a really good 3-0 victory over Leicester, who are not a poor team. They're down in 11th now after that defeat, but they're in mid-table, and they're the kind of team you can slip up against. But we've got a really big victory there, which means that looking ahead in the Premier League, it's the big games to come. We've got Liverpool away and Chelsea at home, Chelsea in 5th, and then Arsenal, who are 6th, and Man United, who are 4th, still to play into the end of the season. So I think next will probably come for this return leg of the Champions League quarter-final and the Liverpool away game in the Premier League as our next episode. Obviously, we don't know who we're playing yet in the quarter-finals. Might have a quick look at when the draw is. The draw's in just a second, so let me jump to that draw and then we'll know who we're playing in the Champions League quarter-final. Well, here is the draw for the Champions League. If we just get the draw going, it's Ronald Koeman there from London. I do like these little draw animations that they've brought in this time round. And Arsenal are the first home team. Who are they going to play? You can see Liverpool also in that draw. Could it be Newcastle? It is... Oh, this does take a long time, doesn't it? I think they put far too long for you to read these little messages. But Arsenal are drawn against Atalanta. Now, that's one of the teams I would have liked to play. There's no ideal draw left in this competition. I'm just going to have to advance this. It's taken far too long. Real Madrid in the next draw. Ooh, Real Madrid. Quarterfinals. That is a big, big matchup. Bayern Munich at Barcelona. That's been an interesting tie recently. And that means it's Liverpool, PSG for the other one. But Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinals. I don't think that's the worst outcome. Real Madrid are a very good team. But they're not quite as formidable as they are in real life because they've got quite an old team. I think that's not a bad draw. I would have preferred Atalanta or Arsenal, I think, but that also means there's a good semi-final matchup in there. And right now we are in the Champions League quarterfinals. Let's just have a quick look at the semi-final draw to see who will be playing, and it will be Arsenal-Atalanta if we can get through to the semi-finals. So if we can get past Real Madrid, I think we've got a pretty clear run to the Champions League final here in our second full season. So Lots to look forward to. Next episode, we're going to do the home second leg match against Real Madrid. Hopefully we don't get smashed at the Bernabeu. And then we'll take on Liverpool away from home in the Premier League. An enormous double-header for our season to come. So do drop a like down below if you enjoyed the follies in this episode. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new. But until next time, see ya.